So, Chery, Kang, Greenland, no military action, no strikes, no boots on the ground, now no tariffs, and we have the framework of a deal over Greenland. What have we learned? Let's take a listen to David Roach, whom we talked to earlier. This is what he thinks we've learned.
What the European Union has learned is that if you face up to them, you win. The same for NATO, because there are now no wars and no tariffs. So more assertive diplomacy instead of the kind of kowtowing supine dead cat diplomacy we had out of the EU for the last year. That's number one. Number two is nobody's going to believe him anymore. The bigger the tariff, the bigger the shock and awe, the bigger the threat, the more likely he is to march his troops up the hill and then down the hill. So credibility is severely damaged. The third, and I think it's the most important, is Europe can't rely on this, any US led by this person for its defense. So the whole reconfiguration of European defense cannot take place by 2035. It's got to take place by kind of the middle of next year. That's got huge implications.
So, Chery, just to recap, standing up for yourself, A, that works. B, nobody's going to believe Trump anymore, and that's debatable and arguable. We can get back to that. But that last point, C, that David was talking about, that this is going to force Europe to speed up, to really ramp their defense, right? Taking care of themselves militarily. He thinks it could happen by next year, and that could have huge implications. And what he didn't get around to talking about was what it could mean for for European yields as well as a single currency. And that, I think, could be a cause of worry.
But I think going back to the defense angle here, I think that's fascinating and sort of in consensus as well. I mean, we talked to a lot of market watchers as well, and they've been talking about how they're very feeling bullish about the European defense stocks. And number one, the fiscal drive is there. And, Marco Papic from BCA Research, a friend of our network, he's been talking about how Europe, we've been really getting the growth story in Europe wrong. It's not exactly a museum. It's sort of waking up. So he's been actually calling for his bullish case around European equities to begin with. So I think there is the whole defense support there when it comes to, the market calls that David Roach and Marco Papic have been making here. And looking at South Korean defense stocks, thank you very much. So they've been just on, I mean, it's like a parabolic looking chart. I mean, maybe we can pull up a single chart for the sector heavyweight Hana Aerospace. I mean, the stock is on a tear. The sector is on a tear. And it's really the similar looking charts for Europe, South Korean, as well as Indian defense stocks. And here we are listening to David Roach saying, buy, buy, buy. They're all going to be a buy, given the fragmentation of the world order and given what the Trump is trying to do here. Perhaps, we see Trump backing off and we're finding some calm, but that fragmentation is still happening.
Yeah, and I think it raises the bigger question down the road, maybe not so far down the road. How are they going to pay for it all, right? I mean, Germany, can certainly afford it. They're opening up the taps to the rest of Europe. I'm not so sure, but, it's going to lead to incredibly higher fiscal pressure, though, I think, on all governments in the EU. So that's something to watch and what that could mean for their yields and also for the single currency. But, back to David Roach's first point. There's probably a lot of chest thumping going on in Europe right now. It's like, yeah, we did it, teamwork, right? Macron playing the tough guy, good bad cop, and then Rutte coming in as the good cop and giving Trump sort of a face-saving way out. And Meloni had her role to play as well from Italy. But I'm wondering really whether or not that's the case, because at the top of the show when we started this morning, Chery, I said, hey, is it Taco Wednesdays again? Because this very much follows the Liberation Day playbook, right? You come in high, aim for the sky with very aggressive threats, and then you settle low, right? And this seems to be, or could be, some people think, exactly what's playing out yet again right? It wasn't never his intention to, launch airstrikes on Greenland or to send boots on the ground, U.S. boots on the ground there. It was probably never his intention to tariff EU countries as well. What he actually wanted was more control in one way, shape, or form over Greenland, specifically over the $5 trillion worth of estimated reserves of critical minerals and rare earths below the snow and below the ice in Greenland. So I think the framework deal, this is worth watching, and whether or not it includes or gives the U.S. mineral rights to that stuff under all that snow and ice.
Absolutely. A couple of points there. So geopolitical premium, this is what tends to happen. So I think the market for now showing some relief over this. But number two, you were talking about, you were trying to compare this to what happened with the Liberation Day, April last year. However, the market might be feeling a little bit stretched compared to April of 2025 because we are coming out of 3 years of a bull market, essentially. So are we looking at a different valuation? Is there a weaker link in the market? Some parts of the market, is it going to be Mag 7? Is it AI trade related question marks? So I think there is a bit of a risk in having this urge to buy the dip. It worked in 2025. It may not work in 2026. So I think, obviously, watch out every year at any point in time in markets. But I think that's something that we need to think about.
There's somebody buying the dip overnight. So anyway, okay. Maybe good time to move along.
No doubt about it. So if you got in trading, you made some money.